the risks involved in harm reduction. Are there no risks? What do you think about
I don't believe there are any risks.
Okay.
But when you say risks, what do you mean?
So harm reduction, for example, like say you're an opiate addict and you're going to take methadone, right? Methadone maintenance or something like that, methadone clinic, or Suboxone or whatever the other ones that are used to get you off of that. I've just heard stories of people that just get addicted to that for years and years and years, and their whole thing was to get off heroin or whatever, and then they're addicted to Suboxone or methadone for a decade, and they're just hooked onto a different substance.
So that conversation, I feel like, was relevant when it was heroin.
Okay.
Because it didn't have the risk of overdose death that fentanyl does. And that was me as well. When I got clean, it's like, I don't want any meds. I don't want methadone. Don't want Suboxone. Like, I'm going to do this. And thankfully I did.
Right.
But looking back, like if I was someone entering recovery today from opioid use, which would be fentanyl, because everything's fentanyl now, I would probably be on one of those medications. Just because if I were to relapse, it would prevent me from overdosing.
Okay.
And so that's where I see it as more of a harm reduction piece to those medications for opioid use like that, is that because relapse is so common.
Sure.
That, you know, and you can get off the meds eventually if you want to. Now, it's not easy, I agree. Like, you're very much dependent. It's an opioid, and it's a long-acting opioid, so it's different from the short-acting opioids that we were abusing.
So it's like the detox off those even harder?
I wouldn't say it's harder because you are under the supervision of a doctor, you know, and if you wanted to taper off, like, you can have a medical taper, and it's over a long period of time, versus, like, you're not just stopping it and going through intense withdrawals, which would happen if you just discontinued it. But no medical provider would recommend that. Like, they have strict procedures for tapering off these medications. But
okay.
I had a woman, I was speaking at an event at a conference, and I was talking about medications for opioid use disorder, and she raised her hand at the end and was like, basically said something along the lines of like, well, everybody I know who's on that Suboxone, you know, they're just as bad as when they were doing heroin or fentanyl. And my response was kind of like, are they stealing to get their Suboxone? Like, are they going to jail for using their Suboxone? Like, are they unhoused because of their Suboxone? Like, no.